What's going on, Altcoin Army? This is Steve coming at you from Altcoin Buzz, and I hope you guys are ready for a fantastic 2018 because I am just absolutely stoked that we are locked in for a massive bull run this year. And before we get so hyped up on that and look forward to what we're going to do over the next 361 days, I want you guys to realize that some coins and sometimes the market is going to have some corrections and some pullbacks. So stay strong. Realize that it happens. Hopefully you have been in long enough to have seen what happened at Christmas time and the pullback that happened there and the funk that carried over with that through New Year's. So not the first time we've been through this rodeo, but it seemed like a big swing because we hadn't seen the market move down that much in any given period of time. And to give you guys a reference of what I mean by bull run is that 2017 has been looked at as the historical period of time in which cryptocurrencies went from this underground economy into what's considered mainstream adoption. Now, I don't know the exact figure of how many people or what percentage of people out there in the world have actually taken to cryptocurrencies, but I've heard the figure that it's nowhere near even 1%. So we are looking at a market capitalization of $750 billion right now with less than 1%, presumably, of the people out there even investing in it. I mean, we're talking about even investing a single dollar in it. So now that it's come to light since about October, September, when people started to have a notion of what cryptocurrencies were, and then learning that there was so much more beyond the veil of Bitcoin to talk about, that became a really big deal. And then you've seen this boom of altcoins take place. So let's take a look at the historical charts because a lot of times we look at the coins overall, but take a look at what happened over the last year. So this takes us all the way back to 1 year from today and what happened to the market capital across the entire market. And you can see that if you were getting in this time last year, people were probably talking about bull runs taking place back then. And we're talking day to day things going up and down 10% swings in the market, which if that were the stock market, that would be insane figures to be swinging on a daily basis. And then you see what happened here right about April. These are times when you could have got coins like Bitcoin for just a few $100. You could have got Ripple for 2 cents or less. You could have got Ethereum for just dimes, basically, $50 or under. And then the market went up and people thought that they were insane to be hitting $100 billion of market capitalization. And what happened? The market corrected, right? It was a long correction. And then it took a while and it built up a slow, steady momentum and it corrected again. But if you look at the time of correction from here to here, and the amount of time of correction from here to here, it's drastically shorter. Sorry, I don't have any better tools to show that to you guys or illustrate it, but you can see that the length of time between corrections was shorter. And it also, I guess it dipped about the same. And then you see what happened here that took place. Really, it was like November. I feel like it started back in September, but we can see that that's probably around here. And then everything's just been on an upward since then. But we had a massive correction back here, early to mid-December, right? The market lost right there. It appears like about $70 billion market capitalization. There's probably some FUD getting spread out there. And boomed, it pulled back. That was our Christmas funk that we went through. Even though it steadily grew all the way till New Year's, it still felt like it was trying to regain its momentum. And then straight up in atom from that point forward. So we look at what happened over the last 7 days. And since the beginning of the year, things have taken off, which I think is really commendable to you guys because there has been some FUD and some information out there with the U.S. tax system and how that may be affecting investors over the next year. We still don't know all the details, right? I'm not a tax accountant, so I don't know what's going out there. I've read a lot of articles and information about what's taken place, and there even appears that there might be some sort of consideration given to positions that were gained prior to the beginning of the end of the year. So that would be a big thing if positions that you took up before December 31st are going to potentially be exempt from any capital gains that are going to be recognized by the IRS if you happen to be in the US. We realize a lot of you guys are elsewhere, but we are based out of the United States. So in this bull run that we're getting prepared to do, This means that people are going to start chunking away money into the market as if it was their stocks or their bonds or their savings accounts or their 401k or their IRA. I personally treat it more like a savings account, but I've seen how it's grown in mass, right? Like I've been in the market, and just in the short period of time that we've been seeing this bull run since about September, I've seen a portfolio gain of something like 25, it's 25 times. So 2,500 times the portfolio of what I've put in versus what I hold today. And it's almost like frustrating when you go a day or two. I mean, two feels like forever. But when you go a day or two and you don't see your portfolio move drastically upwards, we don't want to get in that habit, but it is nice, right? Like every time I log in and I check my balances relative to the US dollar and even to the Satoshis to a good extent right now, I see myself gaining massive traction. So this has been a great week. I've done a lot of diversification. I took advantage of the market dip in December. And right now, it's some people might be having a problem buying coins right now or justifying buying coins, given that there's so many of them that are at all-time highs. If we go back and we want to take a look at these cryptocurrencies, there's just so many that are experiencing unheard of prices. And you don't need to be fearful of uncharted territory, because I think we all have seen this coming, but we were really in denial about how massive the impact of this 2018 bull run was going to be. How long will it maintain? I'm not sure. You know, do the running of the bulls need to stop and catch their breath? That may happen from time to time. There may be some seasonality to it. We've certainly seen Bitcoin remaining somewhat consistent, and that could be, you know, I hope that's more to stick it to people who are playing the futures game. I understand futures. I did a video on futures, Bitcoin futures in particular, if you guys want to look back on that from like a month ago. But I don't think it's really healthy for our cryptocurrency economy. And currently, the only coin that has futures listed on what they call Wall Street, although CBOE and CME are both technically out of Chicago, which is far from Wall Street. People might be trying to stick it to them and not investing too much in them. But I love what's going on with the altcoins. We're seeing these projects gain a lot of market capitalization and a lot of trust with the community. We've been trying to cover as many as possible, and you guys have certainly been trying to lay your claim on getting us to speak about your favorite coins. And there's just honestly no way that even with the team of 4 of us that we can get around to covering all of them. There's already 1,385, so just the other day there was like 1,374. So that means 11 of them have creeped out of the woodworks, not counting any of them that may have gone off the market, which tends to happen as well. You tend to take 3 steps forward and 1 step back, and you gain a few, you lose one, whatever the case may be. But we haven't lost any of the big ones. And what I think is real exciting is when you look back at the white papers of all these businesses that have done their ICOs during 2017, the deliverables are going to start happening, right? So we're going to see one of two things. We're going to have the cream rise to the top. The companies that hit their deliverables on their roadmaps and have great communication and transparency and just maintain the trust of the community are going to continue to see their tokens being invested in, even during the early stages of the rollout of their planned project. And that, I think, is great for the economy, because that type of stuff is going to help fuel better and better projects to make the blockchain a better space. Whether you're in the blockchain for like medical technology like DentaCoin or medical record keeping, or you're in it for the financial tech side for things like Ripple and Vertcoin and Litecoin and a massive amount of projects. Most of them I feel like are in the financial tech industry, because coins so easily translate mentally into finance. But there's so many other tech spaces in which I feel like there's even categories that haven't been explored yet when it comes to cryptocurrency and smart contracts and blockchain usage. Decentralized cloud is fantastic. I did video on Siacoin a while back. It's not alone in that sector. There's a lot of decentralized cloud storage. We've got home sharing coming up like B token. And some of these roadmaps are still going to take us out all the way through 2018 and into 2019, which will feel like we're old men by then, and ladies too, of course. But we'll feel so aged, and we'll be the veterans in this space, looking at all the new people coming in, trying to ask the questions of how do I buy a Bitcoin? Okay, I went on here. What exchange do I get on? That's a chore, and we've given a lot of videos to help you guys. We love it when you guys can help give each other a hand up, a step up, and bring more people into the fold, because honestly, the more people we get into cryptocurrencies talking about it, the better off we all are. Some of these stabilizations will take place when there's more people holding on to their currencies. And right now, we're seeing so much flood of new people coming in, even though I think, like I said, it's a small amount. We're just seeing like the early stages of adoption of this. So we're seeing capital come in and people buying up these coins that they've heard about, like Ripple and things like that have made massive news, or maybe ones that their friends are talking about. And these people have been snatching them up. And they want to take out those positions because they've heard about the gains we've had over the last 3 months for us to grow by 2,500%, or whatever your personal gains may be over the last few months. You're not getting that with the certificate of deposit. You're not getting that with interest on a account at a bank, and you're not going to be growing your 401k. Sometimes you're lucky to even grow those types of accounts, like a 401k mutual fund, by even double-digit percentages in a year's time frame. Let alone if we look at what happened to market capital when we went from, granted there were a lot less coins in there prior to summer, but there was a total market capitalization of like $10 billion, and now we're looking at $750 billion. Let's see what it's at again. $750 billion. So $750 billion. Now, if you're relatively new to understanding market capitalization, that doesn't necessarily mean that $750 billion are sitting there in the accounts, or that's how much money has even been spent by investors going into it. What they do is that they take the basically last traded price of that coin, multiply it by the total circulating supply, and then you end up with their market cap. So that's where the volatility comes in. A coin can go from 10 cents to $2 in what we've seen a few days, but the market capitalization will go up to $2 times the total circulating supply, which will include all the previous coins that were invested at a much lower price. So it doesn't work like a savings account market capitalization, but then again, neither does the stock market. So there's a lot of similarities to stocks. Hopefully some of you guys have looked into those in the past, have a basic understanding, but we'd like to see everything just kind of boom. So back to the topics of the bull run. It's almost hard to pick a coin right now that's going to lose on the short term. Now, in the long term, as we start to see some of these deliverables, this is the double-edged sword coming back for those deliverables that these projects have claimed are going to happen in 2018. So when they miss those deadlines, you're gonna see potentially a loss of trust in the community, unless there's been a strong focus given on community building, transparency, and communication. That will be key to maintaining the solid bond between the projects, their roadmaps and deliverables, and their market capitalization and growth. So always make sure you do your research before jumping in on a coin, because right now you might take for granted the fact that you can just like jump onto something and practically ride it like a wild bull. You'll end up further down the street and maybe make some money. But we need to be a little bit smarter long term in why we pick coins and how long we think we're going to stay on our positions. Now, in the stock market, you're going to get penalized if you do excessive day trading. So you'll typically get like 3 day trades per week that you'd be able to do on the US stock exchange. And that is regardless of how many coins you have and all that. And once you do 4, you're going to be labeled permanently as a pattern day trader, which means that restrictions will be placed on your account and you won't be able to execute day trades again until you have, I believe it's $50,000 of net worth in your portfolio liquid to cover yourself. So they really are prohibitive to it. So there's a lot of people who have taken that appeal that they've seen in movies, or maybe they've heard about from Wall Street, and trying to bring that into the cryptocurrency space, because we're in an unregulated market. We're self-regulated really, but we're in an unregulated market from the standpoint of the SEC setting guidelines like that on our trading patterns. So you do see people coming in and buying and selling coins multiple times throughout a day and trading coins. The more and more valuable these coins get, maybe the fees will be prohibitive to people coming in with small amounts. Certainly that's starting to happen with Bitcoin. You're paying a fee on Bitcoin. Like anytime I've transferred to Bitcoin, I feel like I'm paying at least $10 to move any nominal amount of Bitcoin anywhere. And it used to be so cheap. Some of these other coins that are so cheap right now might end up getting expensive also. But so in this bull run for 2018, what we want to do is we want to try to lock ourselves and gather up some core positions right now, and then always be on the radar for what's coming out. What are some of the emerging trends coming out? Obviously, we're going to identify some of those for you. We also listen to you guys. So you guys are throwing coin suggestions at us all the time. Sometimes, honestly, we don't have enough hours in the day to get to all of them. You know, 1,382 of them. And there's 111,000 plus of you guys, and we really appreciate that. But sometimes we can't cover every single coin every single day. There's also a lot of times that you guys are asking us questions about videos or about coins that we just published a video on like the day before. So not your fault. It's not expected that you get all the notifications of the 4 or 5 videos that we'll do on any given day, but we just want you guys to be aware. You can go back and look at some of the information that we're giving out. Now, information in terms of what the coin's value might have been 3-4 days ago, 2 weeks ago, that may be less relevant today, but information that we uncover about a project and where it's going and what you need to know to get behind that coin, that's probably still going to remain relevant. But so if you take out a position in a coin, I want you guys to research their social media. So let's go ahead and take, for example, Lisk. I'm just going to grab that one because it was the top of the list currently. And if you take a position on a coin, I want you guys to go and follow them on social media. At the very least, follow them directly. Go to their official channel. So you've got @LiskHQ. If you were to invest in Lisk, go ahead and add them to your Twitter account. If you're not on Twitter, sign up for Twitter. Most of these guys are on Twitter. If you're in Reddit, obviously there's a lot of discussion groups on Reddit. I see those all the time. I don't spend a lot of time in Reddit. There could be some really valuable information uncovered in Reddit, however, because a lot of you guys are out there and have spent years just understanding the community behind that. But follow them on their social media channels. That's where you guys are going to get updates on when things are dropping. And sometimes when things drop, whether it's just news or someone touching base, if a project doesn't frequently touch base and then 20 minutes ago they drop an announcement giving you some update that, hey, we're talking to so-and-so, or we're going to be at this expo. Sometimes that's enough to drive enough demand to see double-digit gains on a coin in a single day. So that's why you want to be aware of it. Now, because we're going to take out longer positions for the most part, we're not going to necessarily worry about just jumping on every coin that comes out with an announcement or some update. But, you know, if you've listened to Jeff's advice and just the sound advice in general, you're going to have a core position and a trading position, and you feel free to do what you guys want to do with your trading position on a coin. That we'll totally leave that up to you. But for a core position, try to think about leaving it in there for the duration of most of the deliverable period of that roadmap. Think about the people who bought and sold. If we go back to market cap and look at 1 year, think about all the people who thought they'd seen it all in the pinnacle. By the time they went from here at 17 million market cap, most of that was Bitcoin, and then they saw 20. They're like, oh, I'm out, right? Like, it can't get any better than this. And then the people who got here, man, look at that sell-off right there. There's people who are like, we're at $86 billion. It's never going to get any better than this. And then boom, sold off and dropped down $12 billion in market cap. Because people felt like they couldn't get any better. And how would you feel today if you had learned that $758 billion is the max that this market capitalization is ever going to get to? You'd be foolish to think that that's all it's ever going to grow to. Because when you look at things like Google's stock, for example, we look at their market capital, this will be a great exercise. Let's go ahead and pull that up, and let's look up Google market capital. So, and I misspelled that, so forgive me there. But let's go ahead and take a look at their analysis if we can. I didn't pregame this one, so I just pulled this off the top of my head because I want you guys to understand really how insignificant the $750 billion that's currently in cryptocurrency really is. All right, so Google's market capital is currently, and this is just one of their listings. Now this is Alphabet. You have to keep in mind that they have 2 stock index listings, but Google, just one stock on NASDAQ, one ticker on NASDAQ. It in of itself has $755 billion of market capital. So do the math and you figure how many stocks are on the US stock exchange. How many of those people now have cryptocurrencies on the radar? Because these guys are fighting tooth and nail for 5%, 10% gains, sometimes 20% gains year over year. You would be a hero with 20% gains in the stock market year over year. And one of the hardest things about being in the stock market is knowing when to have your investment in for the days that it hits its massive gains. In a whole 365-day year, the stock market makes most of its moves in like 10 to 12 days on average. So if you are jumping around from coin to coin to coin to coin with your entire position, you're going to miss the swells that take place. And you're going to wish you had gone back and stayed in a position. And that's why you have to have core positions and trading positions to at least be able to weather the growth overall. Otherwise, you're going to basically be finding how everyone else is like going up the escalator and you're going the wrong way, kind of staying where you're at, but you see everyone else just kind of effortlessly rising. So just think of that analogy. Like the people who are holding are the people who are like standing on the escalator, holding still. And depending on your skills or your luck in trading, if you keep moving on and off coins, you may be the guy who runs up the escalator, and you may be the guy who starts trying to run down the escalator. So that's one way to think of it. But so massive bull run coming because $755 billion is only equal to one of Google's tickers. Now we want to see other stocks that are out there. Like here, what is the total market cap of the NASDAQ? And the NASDAQ is one of the stock exchanges. So that won't actually give us what we needed here. But they have stocks going nearly to $1 trillion in market capital. So lesson to be learned: if anytime you think that sky's the limit and today couldn't be possibly any higher than it was the day before, just remember that all the money in the world and all the market cap that's in cryptocurrency is basically on par with Google right now. So it's nothing. Trust me, there's 1,382 businesses here, of which many and most of them are legitimate, that are competing and vying for just that same exact market capitalization. So stay plugged in, stay tuned, make sure you subscribe to us, and then if you haven't checked us out on social media, make sure you follow us on Twitter. We're at AltCoinBuzzIO, and then you can check us out on Instagram. Jeff's throwing out some alerts throughout the day, giving you guys updates on when coins are booming and going big. Getting a lot of info and two-way conversation from you guys there. We love being connected, like seeing the comments you get. Yes, I realize I'm not Jeff. Jeff has to sleep sometime, but no, he's not sleeping right now. It's just my time to make a video. So this is Steve from AltCoin Buzz signing off.